to the Bounty Park. I'm Tom, as always, and this is my co-host, James Hobson. And today, Nerd of the Week, we have poster artist extraordinaire, Matt Ferguson with us. Matt, how are you, man?
I'm okay. A bit tired.
Yeah, I heard you've been signing a lot of posters today. Was it?
Yeah, we've finally been getting to the artist proofs of the Empire Strikes Back that we sold a few weeks ago.
Yeah, this
We've
one
had
in James' background, right?
Yeah, I've had a few delays getting them posted out, and we were doing that and also sorting out unicorns all day. So it was
fun work, huh?
I need to hire somebody to do it for me.
Yeah, I mean, you probably sold a lot of posters to do that.
You'd think.
Yeah, let's jump right into The Mandalorian, Chapter 13, The Jedi, directed by Dave Filoni, and the episode length is 45 minutes. So first off the bat, we're going to start off with you, Matt. What were your initial thoughts of the episode?
I thought it was good. I've been watching them with my wife, and she's not a hardcore Star Wars fan, so she's seen the films. She's not watched any of the TV series or read any of the books or comics. To be honest, I've not watched any of the cartoon series since the 2D Clone Wars one, the Tarkovsky one.
Yeah, from
so
20,
I kind of like
2006.
sort of knew who she was, but not really. So my wife was completely lost. She was just like, "Who is this?" But then she was like, "Oh, it's a Jedi, and they need a Jedi."
Yeah.
So it was good. It's very much like a deep dive into Star Wars. It's like when am I allowed to do spoilers?
Yeah. We don't go
This is a
to go
full-on
too far.
discussion.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all whole
When
spoiler
she
talk.
mentions like who she's looking for, Ashoka, like I knew who that was because of the old sort of Shadows of the Empire type stuff and the old comics. But my wife was just like, "Who?" And I was like, "Oh, he's just a baddie, like Thanos, just a big baddie."
Yeah.
So they build him up over time, hopefully. So it was good. There was an awful lot of stuff dumped on, like those new story points and stuff. So it was more interesting than the last few episodes.
That's true indeed. James, what are your initial thoughts?
It was good. Similar to what Matt said, really. It kind of like goes into a lot of lore. I did think that actually that's interesting to hear about Matt's wife, like what people who weren't into Star Wars, like in all the backstories, would have thought of all these characters being brought up out of nowhere. But I think this it seems like this is Dave Filoni just trying to win back some people who they might have lost a little bit after the sequel trilogy, and it seems like they've done that with the fans that moan about everything. Most people seem quite happy.
Yeah, I heard. All around, like a lot of memes, a lot of good stuff on the internet. Nothing really bad that stuck out there, but
It's a good show. Good show.
Definitely.
I preferred the sequel trilogy though.
The sequel trilogy, then
The new films. I think much better.
than the
That's
prequel.
just-
Yeah.
And than the Mandalorian. Mandalorian is good, but I prefer this. That's why I found this episode more interesting because of the Jedi stuff coming in. I prefer a bit more of the sort of mysticism and interesting things in Star Wars. Just the straight up bounty hunter western stuff is fine, but for me, it's no different than like A Team. He goes to a place, deals with it, goes to another place the next week. It's good, but it's like a kid's cartoon.
But building on that, isn't the mystery of the Mandalorians and like the Watch in this case, isn't that interesting to you? I mean, that has some mysticism, some sort.
No, it's just the same as Boba Fett. They just look cool. When you get down to it, he just looks really cool and he does cool stuff. So the 12-year-old in me thinks it's the coolest thing ever. Like the episode the week before when he was spinning the Razor Crest around and shooting TIE fighters. I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen while I was watching it. But really, he was just shooting some spaceships. There was nothing really to it. It's just cool.
Yeah, I mean,
really cool.
That's what we've been having for quite some time with The Mandalorian. It's basically Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau putting out their toys and playing in a sandbox, and then hey, let's make this an episode. This is
It's great fun if you just relax and have fun with it. It really is. So
exactly.
But this one had a little bit more to it, so I think it was one of my probably my second favorite one. The finale of the first series was my favorite episode.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. And this one was similar to that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we're gonna come back on that at the end of the show again and talk some more about it. And I want to jump right into it. In the beginning, we see the city of Calodan, and it looks like it's like you can see a ravaged planet, factories in the background, which is really interesting, and that comes in later. I think it had a very cool feel in terms of the throughout the whole episode, the planet and the cinematography they used. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
It's kind of good to see a forest planet that's not loads and loads of trees everywhere. It's kind of like this is after something's been done to it, so you get a slightly different look from that. But they also borrow a lot of the fog effects on a forest planet, which is obviously a bit of a Star Wars trope. So you feel like you're in a good place from the start.
After the scene, I think I gave the planet the feel to it, like that the Empire is there in that kind of sort of sense, which we get throughout the episode a lot, and how broken down the Outer Rim is in that regard. I think that's really interesting to see, but that just takes a couple 1 minute or so, and then we are thrown right into the action. And the big reveal happens. Everybody knew that it was coming, but I never thought it would be in the first 2 or 3 minutes. How did you guys feel about Ahsoka showing up with her lightsabers wielding and killing bad guys? Matt?
Well, I don't have any connection really to the character because I've not watched. I guess it's Rebels or Clone Wars cartoons, really. I've seen bits, so I know that she's like Anakin's trainee. What they call Padawans. Yeah. So I'm a big Star Wars nerd, but the newer stuff, I'm not so much. I just like the original 3 movies, really, and I do like the other ones, but I'm not into them like I was as the other ones. So I thought it was cool. I thought her lightsabers had a cool sound because they don't sound like normal lightsabers. So that was cool. But again, it's just cool stuff. I didn't know who she was really.
But I think it was for me, it was really interesting to see that this. First of all, there's a lightsaber. We have some force powers and some cool choreography that when she cuts people up and throws trees at them. I think that was pretty badass and something.
She cuts the bell in half. Is that at the beginning?
No, that's later on. We're gonna come to that.
But it could have been though. They could have done it all in less time. But anyway, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that was really great to see, and the lightsabers are really great. I read up earlier on that because I did not know that, or I didn't remember. There's supposed to be. The white lightsabers come from basically a bleaching of a Sith Inquisitor lightsaber. There was a double-bladed lightsaber from the 6th brother, and she took out the kyber crystals and made them pure again, and that's how she got the lightsabers. So
yeah, no idea what you're talking about. They sounded cool. I like there are sort of different. See, I just see it in things that I've seen recently. So Kylo Ren's lightsabers all crackly and, but hers are really sort of smooth and perfect, even more so than the old trilogy ones. So and they make a softer hum. So I thought that was quite cool to have a different sort of sound coming out of them.
James, what were your initial thoughts? You know about Ahsoka, right?
A little bit, yeah. There's a lot of episodes that I missed from the shows that she was in, unfortunately. But just visually, it's such a good way to kick off a TV show. It's darkness, and then all of a sudden you get these 2 lights, white shafts that take out the shadowy figure. They go off, and then they're shot to somewhere else. All of a sudden they appear. It's just visually, it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Aside from anything to do with Star Wars, it just looked brilliant.
Yeah, I think it looked also like really cool with the like all the fog and like when she turned them off and then she was running like with like
Yeah.
she used lots of force powers like moving twigs or like speeding up and stuff like that. And I like the POV vision when she ran towards one of the guys with the A350 blasters and cut them in half. That was really cool to see.
It's kind of like Evil Dead, isn't it? Like that in the fog POV.
Yeah.
I can't remember this. I know obviously they did that in there. I don't know if that was something that they referenced.
Yeah, and
was it like from Ahsoka's point of view that they were doing that?
Yeah,
or?
I think it was for Ahsoka's point of view. Basically, you could see that the camera was like moving faster and was like a little blurry vision, so that felt like she was using like a force speed to run faster, and I think that gave it this little feel. But just my interpretation here.
Missed that. Missed it.
But yeah, right away we also see the bad guys coming up, and the bad guys in terms of Morgan Elsbeth, played by Diana Lee Inosanto, which is Bruce Lee's goddaughter, and she's also a martial artist, and she trained with Bruce Lee back then. That was like kind of like an interesting fact I read up on. And then we have Lang, played by Michael Biehn, who played Hicks in Alien and Kyle Reese in Terminator. Mm-hmm. And many different roles as well. Then we have some very cool HK-87 droids, and Ahsoka gives the baddies an ultimatum to free the people. I think that was really interesting that you could see like what is happening to this town and how the Empire took over, and you could definitely see the very cool Beskar spear, which we're going to talk about later a little bit. But how did you like the foes in this first entrance?
Matt?
I think they were... Because I've got a daughter, it's weird. We've been watching a lot of He-Man. Mm-hmm. And there's stuff in this that makes me think of He-Man. They were like henchmen. I knew straight away that she wasn't like really the main, or not going to be a main baddie. Mm-hmm. So like that had that cool sort of henchman thing to it. It was weird.
It was
to me.
Weird.
It's just
sure.
It's like watching something like He-Man, like a Saturday morning cartoon, but just done with all this money put behind it. So it's just so strange to watch because it's like, I don't know. I find it odd to watch. So it just makes me think of He-Man.
Okay. So speaking of henchmen, what's your favorite henchman of all time?
Of anything, or just in Star Wars?
Of anything. That's a tough question.
No, there's too many.
Okay, let's put it on Star Wars then. Can you name it in Star Wars?
I liked General Hux in Star Wars.
Okay.
He was good.
That's a controversial point.
Well, it isn't. He was good.
Okay. So that was interesting for me to see, at least. I really love that scene. And we get right away onto the landing of the Razor Crest, where we can see in the beginning when he comes to the planet, we see this guy with the space speed gun that they like track him or whatever, or like scan him.
Oh, like when they come down in A New Hope. Or when they take off, it's the same on Yavin.
Yeah, exactly. On Yavin, exactly.
That was cool, yeah. Star Wars, like, nerdy stuff.
Exactly. That was, like, right in there. And then you could see a lot of the forest. There are no leaves on the trees anymore. The trees are all dead, basically. And when they get out of the Razor Crest, you can see those crazy big animals that, like, I don't know, looking for food or eating like the rest of the trees, I don't know, and they looked really interesting as well and gave this planet a new feel, and that sort of way I really enjoyed that. And in the landing, I was really interested in the connection between we call him the child for now and the child for now
forever.
No. I'm okay with the new name, but yeah, the child. Like he puts him in his seat. Let's go to your seat, basically. So some parenting moment. Matt, you are a father. How is that? Mm-hmm. Like, are you reminded in those situations?
Yeah. Well, he wants the little knob thing, not the control.
Yeah,
thing.
I
That's very much
should have
reminds
grabbed
me
mine.
of when my child wants something, they become single-mindedly obsessed with it. But also,
She uses the Force.
we knew, like my wife said that's coming in. They're going to use that in the episode in some way because it was like a sort
of course, yeah.
So, yeah, it's very similar to how children actually are. That's why he's so cute, because he's a weird little thing that eats eggs and stuff. But like my kid, when she was in that phase of just eating anything or trying to put anything in her mouth, same. And they do that when they just grab, when they just.
It's gone.
You just, oh God, what are you doing?
Yeah,
So that's why he works so well, because he's kind of just very accurate to what children are like.
Yeah.
So you just react to that.
The only time I know that from was when my dog was very young. He always was going for stuff and just put it in his mouth and chewing on it. I lost a couple toys to that, and the worst time was I was actually playing a Star Wars game, Star Wars Knights, the Old Republic online, and my dog was chewing on the hardwire cable, the LAN cable, and I was disconnected. Well, I was really mad. But oh well, it's that's what they do, I guess. And this that was really interesting, seeing this connection, and also how their bond is growing more and more. He can tell him stuff, and he's doing stuff, and they understand each other in a certain way. What we've seen in the episode before, when they were drinking together, having a good time, that was all really cool. And then they're gonna move on to the town, and we see the Mando standing in front of the gate, and we can see the top of the gate there. It looks a lot like the place on Jakku, the Ralph McQuarrie drawings. I think they were inspired by that. So that was
Star Wars.
Yeah, and the Mando doesn't tell them the truth. He basically lies to them by what he's doing here, and he keeps his agenda really hidden, because I think he already knows that these are not good people. So and then they enter the town, and it was like one of my favorite things that happened was when you see the depressed droid. The first droid you see is always walking slow and I think that was a really fun moment. And as you can see how the Empire even kills the droids, and they're not living beings in that matter.
Totally missed that.
Yeah, Matt, did you catch that, or
was it the sort of with the legs like the one from Jabba's palace a bit?
Yeah,
it's been tortured in Jabba's palace.
Yeah,
made me think of when they come to Mos Eisley in A New Hope. But in the special edition version of A New Hope, when they passed by a bunch of critters and stuff. So it's kind of like a classic Star Wars thing. Show some weird stuff happening with creatures as you go into where you're going.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to show off their beautiful LED wall, I guess, in that sort of way, and have how the towns are designed, having a different one. I think they have if you notice throughout the seasons, every time he comes into a town, there's a big main street.
And it's like Mos Eisley every time.
Yeah, there's one main street, and he always goes. The main character always goes down there. And then on the side we see people that are scared and that they are about to die. And then the Mando gets over to the guards want to bring him to the magistrate, Morgan Elsbeth, and then you can see people are in cages, and that they're getting electrocuted, and you can see their skeleton, which reminded me a lot of the times when people used Force lightning on other people. So, how did you feel about that the town is this tortured, Matt?
Well, that made me think of things like Willow and stuff like that, or like pirates, where there's people in cages in a town. So it's kind of like that. It's like a trope of a sort of Western type person coming in. This is a bad town. He's going to have to clean it up. Sort of thing.
They should have just put that on the screen, basically, to save some money. This is a bad town. Mando, clean up.
Clean it up, Mando.
I mean, that's his job. He's basically he's healing.
He's a drifter.
he's healing the galaxy everywhere he goes. He helps the small little town. So
It's
that's
definitely like a Clint Eastwood type thing going on with it. So there's that Western influence, which is quite cool. That gives it a slightly different flavor to other Star Wars. Although this one felt more Star Warsy, obviously, because of the Jedi stuff.
Yeah,
So it was good.
I really enjoyed then when we see the magistrates part of the town. When the gates open, you can see a very Japanese style garden. Everything is lush and more green. Even the light seems like the surroundings seem lighter than the rest of the town and the world. And I think that looked really amazing. And also the very cool droid in the back. I think I really enjoyed the droids, the assassin droids. How did you guys feel about that?
They were very nimble. Yeah. they were like super human, like the way they moved. They weren't, like the IG droids, which are very like 90-degree angles. These were quite. What's that? The guy who did District 9.
Blomkamp. Neil Blomkamp.
Blomkamp, yeah.
Chappie.
So there were like loads of chappies all around. They moved quite.
Yeah. What was the guy in Rogue One? The robot in Rogue One.
K2SO?
Yeah. They were kind of a bit like that because they were tall and thin as well, right?
Yeah. They looked like I think they're also part of those fourth class droids. Those are like all the assassin droids and like
a bit more Imperial.
Yeah, exactly. And they you see a lot of those kind of droids in the Clone Wars and all the animated shows because they can focus on that more. And I wonder if we go back to the Dark Troopers, because the Dark Troopers are in the comics and everything, they are droids. So if there's a connection to that, we see a more advanced kind of droid that can take it up with one of our good guys, basically. And this feels like very prequel-y, and you see like the Separatist army that use droids and stuff like that. So that's interesting if this kind of feeling is, or if they come back with that in that regard. Also in the town, or when he talks to the magistrate, she shows up with the bounty, basically, or the reward he's going to get later on, which is the Beskar spear. And I think the Beskar spear looked really cool, and it was like interesting concept because I think there is some concept art where Boba has this kind of spear. And so to look at that and how that's going to filter in. Did you know about, Matt, did you know about that Beskar can hold off a lightsaber?
No, so when that happened, that was really cool when they fought. And I didn't know that it did that, so that was cool. And I guess it makes sense because they've said the Mandalorians are like the enemies of the Jedi.
Yeah.
From long ago or whatever it was. So the fact that their armor and what they're obsessed with stops lightsabers is pretty cool. Like I didn't know that, so that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, and we're gonna come back to that later. But I wanted to know, or what you guys' thought is on. We see she's putting some stuff into her little pond there. Are this just gonna be some space kois, or is it gonna be a big fish in there?
What's the prequel joke about big fish?
There's always a bigger one.
Yeah.
Oh, because it gets et and then yeah. I thought it would be cool to see some little three-eyed sort of piranha type things or something. Like a bit for me. I thought like James Bond, like she could push people in and they just get into skeletons.
Piranhas.
Well, that's all not going to happen, but that's what I thought when I saw her doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Also,
opportunity.
What I wanted to say was, or what I forgot to say was, I also liked when he used the spear and like clung this against his armor, and it makes this particular Beskar sound they created. I think that is like you hear that sound when they shoot blaster bolts at him and they bounce off, and I think that's really interesting that they have a
it's
certain
sort of
sound.
like how they know it's actually that metal, isn't it? They go, oh yeah, this is the real deal when it makes that sound. So he's like, I'll have that.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it is also like basically a lightsaber humming. Like when you or ignite a lightsaber. This is the kind of signal sound for that. I think that's a really cool little effect that they put on there for the Mandalorian. So they're gonna leave the town, and I like that he talks to the Lang dude, and like he would like, what's this green thing in your back there, blah blah blah, and he's like, yeah, it's my lucky charm, and it's like sometimes he's always like referring to it sometimes as a pet, sometimes as a lucky charm. He's like he's not really. I don't know if he's like not grown into that role of a dad yet. What do you guys think? Is he there yet or not?
He can't really say it's my son, can he?
I think he is there, but he's just like not saying it.
He's
It's
too
like
cool.
a classic sort of dad thing, because dads are always like quite classic dads anyway, are quite closed off.
Yeah.
Never say I love you, son.
Are you a classic dad or what are you?
Me, no, I'm not a classic dad. I'm an idiot. So
Okay, yeah. So they're on the hunt. We can see again a lot of destroyed nature, which is interesting to see. And in this destroyed nature, you can see like right before they meet Ahsoka, you can see in the top. I highlight this for the people because it's very dark. You can see an owl-like creature, and this owl-like creature is like the foreshadowing that okay, Ahsoka is gonna jump out, because if you have watched the Clone Wars, this kind of owl creature is called a convor, and this convor in particular is called Morai, which is very connected to Ahsoka in that way. And you can see this owl-like creature multiple times throughout the different shows, and it's very much featured. It's a little Easter egg for.
is it like a demon or something?
The actual
is it like a familiar, or is it just a thing?
No, it's an actual thing. But the story behind is that I think it was the mother of Morai, which gave her life or her power so Ahsoka could live. And basically, Morai saved Ahsoka in that way. So they are kind of like Chewie and Han connected by this bond.
Okay.
So this is basically the kind of story there. But then we have also some Mando tech moment where he looks again through his helmet, like with the heat sensor, and doesn't see anything. That reminded me again of A New Hope, when Luke looks through his binoculars, then the Tusken Raiders show up, or when the Mando does in Episode 2, when was it Blurgan? I think the Blurgans, those animals that he rides on later on, when they pop up, like right after looking through binoculars and stuff like that. And yeah, we see Ahsoka popping up, and a big cool fight ensues. And first off, you see him catching with his Beskar, catching the lightsaber. She must be wondering what's going on. I don't know if she knows how good Beskar is, because I think when you look at Bo-Katan, I don't know how, because they have their Beskar doesn't look like pure Beskar. I wonder if they are protected. But I'm not sure on that. But yeah, that looked really cool. And then we have another Empire Strikes Back moment, which is really cool, when he shoots his little rope thingy and ropes Ahsoka like he did with, like Boba Fett did to Luke, right? You all remember that moment in Return of the Jedi?
I remember it in Return of the Jedi. Did that happen in the episode?
Yeah, it happened like on the barge, where before they.
Oh no, it happened in Return of the Jedi. I remember that, but did that happen in the episode that we just watched?
Oh yeah. It happened when they were fighting. He shot he shot the rope thingy, and then she used her force jump and jumped over the twig, and then he was pulled up, so he had to let go.
Oh yeah.
Now you remember.
Now I know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, so that was really interesting to see. And then he like basically says, "Hey, we need to talk," and yeah, he and I really liked how they portrayed Ahsoka in a way. I mean, as you mentioned before, Matt, she is the Padawan of Anakin, and I think Anakin shines through here in that matter, like the cockiness he has, and she's like, we need to talk about him." And
so is she a Jedi Knight? Did she complete her training?
No, she left the Order at some point before she was. So
she's not, but she is a Jedi. What becomes a Jedi? Because Luke's just a Jedi when Yoda's like, "Yeah, I'm too tired to train you anyways. You're a Jedi."
Yeah,
sleep.
all he did was like lift some rocks and do some backflips, and he's a Jedi.
Yeah.
So I mean, Rey's a Jedi because she's like awesome and could do everything because she's like got the magic blood or whatever. But what makes a Jedi a Jedi?
I think it's
another Jedi calling you a Jedi, or just because you can do the stuff?
No, I think the trials of the Jedi is important here. Like Luke going into the cave, facing his inner demons.
That's what makes him a Jedi.
Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah, but he says he's not a Jedi until you got to go sort of face Vader or whatever. Who tells him not to go? I don't know.
But he's like, I think he is that's when I think you are a Padawan until your training is complete. And I think doesn't say Yoda like your training is complete.
Yoda says he's a Jedi in Return of the Jedi, and then he ghosts him. He's like, "Yeah, you're a Jedi," and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
And Luke's like, "Oh, I came back here to complete my training."
What to do now? Yeah, well, then he went off, and we're looking for other Jedis at some point. But yeah, so I don't know. I think she, at least I would say, I think she
must be a Jedi because the episode's called The Jedi.
Yeah, but I think that's
the general idea of there is Jedi around.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
it's like now we're introducing the Jedi.
Yeah, because he's off to get another one now.
Yeah, I think that's it. But I think she doesn't consider herself as Jedi. I think it's like a gray area. I think she's more like a Qui-Gon type person.
Yeah, she's more of a pacifist, isn't she? She kind of walked away from the Jedi Order because she felt like she was becoming more of a warrior rather than what the Jedi are supposed to be.
I mean, she was killing a bunch of people in this episode.
Well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Times have changed, maybe.
Times have changed. But yeah, then they have the talk, and yeah, I really liked when the Mando was pacing back and forth. In terms of what he like basically like he's waiting for like let's say like a birth, like he's waiting that the child is gonna come into his world, like like in a waiting room. Were you like that, Matt, when your daughter was born, or were you in the room?
I'll not go into any details.
Okay, but yeah, it's all good, because I think you see those scenes like in movies, like walking back and forth, like the dad waiting and with the cigar.
No, not like that.
The stereotypical things. But yeah, I kind of felt like that, and I loved how they communicated. Like you can only hear his cooing, and she explains it later, which is really interesting to see. And then the great scene where everything happens, the big reveal. And Ahsoka just says casually, "Yeah, Grogu was doing this or that, blah blah blah," and then he's like, "Grogu," and then he tries the name out, and I love how Grogu reacts right away, and I think that was a great moment for a lot of people. How did you feel about the name? Is everybody, Matt? Did you like the name or not?
It's fine. It's like Gizmo. It's like, I guess what they could come up with, switching letters around for sort of a cute name, and also slightly Yoda-ish.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, I'd want him to keep calling him the kid.
Okay. The Mando probably does.
Yeah, just call him kid. I like that. Well.
Yeah.
James,
yeah, I hope we don't really. Yeah, the same as Matt. Really, like I kind of hope we don't lose that, like, kid, that little remark and stuff.
Yeah,
people will still call him Baby Yoda. Grogu's fine. It's a name that's been made up. It's like it's fine. They didn't carry on with like the the name beginning with Y like they did with Yaddle and Yoda.
Yeah. I was wondering a little bit about it. Like when I first heard it the first time, I was like thinking of like a troll or something like that, or like an orc. It sounds like from World of Warcraft, Grogu the warrior, and like I kind of was reminded of it. But I think the green comes in that way. I don't know why, but I think it's kind of fitting. But and then also we learned some stuff about the Force. We never hear midichlorians and stuff like that, but I think that was really interesting that the Mando learns something new and his world opens up. It's not. It's like the ideas he has before in terms of those space wizards the Jedi are, and now he knows a little bit more. I think that was very good to see. And we hear also Grogu's backstory, where Ahsoka says there were different masters. And I wondered myself who trained him. Is that something you wondered, Matt, or do you have an idea who trained him in what?
Well, he's 50 years old, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be really Yoda. I thought initially my first thoughts about him was he was like a clone of Yoda, and just kind of like a blank slate, and he's learned stuff a little bit as he's gone along. But if he's actually been trained, then surely it's Yoda in the prequel time, because Yoda was training the younglings, right?
Yeah, but not always. The other people were training the younglings as well. But Yoda was training a lot. You're right.
It'd be Yoda.
Okay, what kind of lesson would you say he got? Yeah, just make something up. Let's have some ideas here.
Home ec.
What's that?
Home ec. So like learning to cook and eat constantly.
But he didn't learn anything. He's just swallowing.
I guess just maybe he didn't really get much. He knows that he can grab for stuff, but then again, they said that he's hiding his powers, so we don't really know what he can do. Yeah, because he's 50 years old. Maybe he can talk and everything, and he's just like pretending.
Yeah. The fact that he was like taken out and everything, like it might mean that he's actually super powerful, and he was like one of the best.
Yeah, they hid him before it really went down.
Yeah,
which is weird because I don't know how that happened. Because when it goes down, doesn't Anakin just swoop in before they even know anything's going on and just murder them all?
Kills all the younglings, but maybe
not Baby Yoda though.
Yeah, I think that there was like this.
So that's because it's Yoda's son, and Yoda's like, I'll save my own son first. We don't see any of that in the movies.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Well, exactly. So there's plot holes there that I'm sure they'll explain. But they didn't have done that. There could have been other explanations.
Yeah, I mean, the Jedi Temple is very big, so I don't know if Anakin went to like every nook.
I guess they might have other ones on different planets.
Or that as well, yeah.
Yeah.
He went to the human children first.
Yeah. Yeah. But wasn't there a Rodian? Didn't he kill a Rodian?
I don't know. I remember there was a little boy that's like, hello.
Matt, did you see the Robot Chicken Star Wars episodes?
No.
Oh, you should check them out. They were definitely something for you because they have like Robot Chicken though, right?
Yeah, it came from the old Toy Fair stuff. I used to read those things, Twisted Toy Fair Theatre, which was like a comic book, where they animate like Mego figures and stuff.
Yeah.
But figures.
The Robot Chicken episode is like there's this one bit like where Anakin goes back and he imagines that they're all sunflowers and he's like dancing with his lightsaber and turning around and cutting off the heads of the sunflowers, and then he wakes up and realizes, oh. But yeah, that was I thought it was fun. But yeah, so there's a lot of training going on, and Ahsoka mentions that she knows only one other being, but as we just mentioned, Yaddle is also of the species, but I wondered if she never got in touch with Yaddle or how that happened. I mean, she was on the seat, right? Is
it just in the Phantom Menace when that happens?
Yeah, I think so, right?
That's like
After that, she's gone.
She probably just never saw her.
Yeah, maybe when she was on. I mean, Ahsoka comes along around Attack of the Clones, obviously after Attack of the Clones, and then maybe Yaddle went to a different planet with the child. That could have been something. The love child of Yoda and Yaddle. I don't know. Getting busy. That's a weird imagination.
Who knows? It's kind of better when it's a mystery in a way.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
I think just leave a little bit of mystery to it. I hope that they do, and they don't explain too much stuff, because that was always people's problems with the prequels, is that they explained too much stuff that didn't need explaining. Like, you didn't need to know why the Force worked; it just did.
Yeah.
So, it's a fine line.
But what the Mando definitely wants is that he is going to be trained, because I think he comes from a background where training is very important, and I think he wants the child to have the best abilities. And he puts really Ahsoka in a spot there to do that stuff she didn't want. I think that goes along with a whole lot of different Star Wars themes throughout the movies, like when masters or like somebody who can teach doesn't want to teach because it's too scary in that kind of way. Did you feel that as well, Matt? I mean, you as an original trilogy fan.
Well, she's obviously coming off of it from what happened with Anakin turned into Darth Vader, and that's kind of what not Luke. That's what Yoda's issue is with training Luke, because he's like, well, he's too old. Because last time we did this with an older kid, we got flipping Darth Vader out of it.
Yeah,
but the little baby Yoda's already been trained apparently a bit, so maybe he just needs that training picking back up. But she's obviously it's the exact same thing as with Yoda not wanting to train Luke. And I know it might end up with it being her in the end anyway, training him. And they might just stretch that out over a few episodes.
Okay.
And then she'll be like, you know what? I'll do it. It's either that or they're going to bring Luke Skywalker back, and it's going to be like, well,
okay, yeah. Let's talk about that later. So yeah, they're gonna start training. Floating rocks, always a thing. You know how that works. And yeah, I think that was like a really fun scene, especially when like the Mando went like this. Do it. he's like he doesn't have any patience at all. He just wants to let's go, do it. And this basically like Grief Karga saying, "Wave your magic hand." And then, that's what the Mando wants him to do. And I think that was really interesting to see in that kind of regard. And I like that part of the training a lot. And that turns into like this father-son moment again, like throwing a baseball. I think that was really, really cute. Matt, do you have those kind of moments with your daughter? Is she in that age where she can do cool stuff?
Yeah. She's got lots of dance moves. So we danced to David Bowie a lot, and she's good at dancing. So
all right. That's cool.
She can do all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Stand on her head.
that's
always
impressive.
Good.
Yeah, maybe she's gonna start breakdancing and spinning on her head.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, how did you feel about that, James? Did you this kind of teaching moment?
Yes, it's important, isn't it? It's what people felt that they were lacking from The Last Jedi, I guess. Those kind of moments that basically rip off what was gone before.
Did they think that was lacking in The Last Jedi? Really?
Yeah.
I thought that the teaching was brilliant in that, what Luke taught her, personally.
It's just what I heard, you know.
Okay.
People are talking. People are talking.
On the internet thing that people said stuff on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that the three lessons were great, personally, that Luke imparted on her. Yeah.
Yeah. So floating rocks. That's always the thing, as we said, and then basically we talk about fear, and as we already did, and we see like the doubts in Ahsoka's mind, but then they want to help the Mando, and she puts him on a path to that there is the possibility that she will train him. And then they're gonna go attack the town and take the town back, and then we have another great action scene with Ahsoka when she cuts the bell in half. That's the part Matt talked already about.
That didn't happen at the beginning, but in my brain it did.
Yeah,
because a lot of it, this wasn't me so much. My wife felt that they could have got to stuff quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She's like asking that question, like, "Who do you work for?"
Yeah, that's very
Where
important.
Where is he? And then saying the name finally. It's like she could have just asked that straight out from the beginning.
Yeah, right. It was a long build up to get there.
It's kind of like cheap, a little bit of a cheap shot, storytelling wise.
Yeah,
I get why they did it, but
yeah. Yeah, but I still love the fight scene, and I love like she's also cocky again to this one dude, basically saying, "Run the fuck away," when he doesn't have his weapon anymore. It doesn't kill him though. And then we get into the town, have like a Western standoff kind of scene with all the other baddies there. And I think it was a really cool stuff when she jumped from the roof basically, and or on the roof, and then like basically got away from the bad guys. And then those kind of stalker moments where you can see like she is like running in the background, and then we see a little loth cat before in this one scene, like getting riling up the troops that come after her. And yeah, there's some crazy stuff in there. How did you like the action scenes of that part, Matt?
Well, it's really, it's again, it's really cool, but not knowing the character, not knowing why she's doing what she's doing because it's not being said. It's just cool stuff happening in front of me. So then I can compare it to like the fight scene which is behind you on that poster in The Last Jedi, where they fight and there's a reason for it, and it's character driven. It's all about the journey that those characters are going on, their arc. Now, I'm assuming Ashoka's got an arc, but I've not seen the cartoons, so I don't know what that is. And I'm not sure if it's really relevant to what's happening in this episode. And I guess it is, because you find out who she's after later on. But
yeah, I could.
It's hard to get beyond it just being something cool when it's not coming really. If you take the episode as a standalone episode without watching anything else. Because Mandalorian episodes are kind of standalone adventures in a way.
Yeah.
So then it's just kind of cool stuff, and I'm like, I want to really sort of more character. So I prefer just the sort of training scene, or when they were just talking. Personally,
Okay.
It was cool and everything. Or the standoff between Mandalorian and the
Lang. His name's
Hicks
Lang.
guy.
Yeah.
That was more interesting because they'd sort of established that sort of character a bit more. Weirdly,
yeah,
to me.
I really like that how they did like this sound, like sound bites. You know, you could hear the lightsaber, the Beskar playing in the background, and then the Lang guy says basically, "Oh, my side could win, your side could win," and then he basically says in the end, "Oh, I think your side won." And I think that was a cool moment. It was
more interesting because it was out of a place of character.
Yeah. But I also have to say I like the fight choreography with the spear, obviously, and when in the concept art you can see that it's very Japanese animated or drawn in that way. You can see like this dojo kind of type fight, which was really cool.
So it goes side on like a fighting game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Which was kind of cool.
And I liked it that that Ahsoka had trouble with her, like so she has been trained, and that's what she also says basically by her master, which we reveal later at the end of the fight, where she asks, "Who's your master?" Where she asks, "Where is Thrawn?" And Thrawn is thrown out. And what was your initial thought when you heard the name? I mean, Matt, you told me the story a little bit earlier, but yeah, first thoughts.
Well, I thought it was similar, really, to the first time they had Thanos in after Avengers, the first Avengers movie, because I went to see that with some friends and my then girlfriend, she's now my wife, and like they were all just like, "Who the fuck was that?" And I was like, "That's Thanos, you know." He's like the big bad, because I read all the comics. So I was like really excited, but they were just like, "Who's that purple guy? Who gives a shit?" And like people hearing a name, they're just going to be like, the majority of people that are watching Mandalorian don't know who Grand Admiral Thrawn is. So they're just going to be like, It might be cool how they reveal him and how they build him up. Because that's what happened with Thanos. They built him up over time and it became something really good that you could go back and enjoy. Yeah. But as of now, it just fell flat because
it has
not
to be
established in any way whatsoever outside of the comics and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's been in 2 seasons of Star Wars Rebels. He's been on there.
I've not watched it.
Yeah, I know. But he's been on there, so I wonder how they're gonna do it. I mean, he's been established in the animated show and put him in there. I mean, Ahsoka wasn't like really established in here. If you don't know anything about Ahsoka, she was thrown in. She's a Jedi doing her thing. And I wonder how they're going to do that. James, do you know about Thrawn? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, a little bit. I wonder if they're sort of doing this on purpose, just because it's all on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then people might be like, oh, or they might ask friends or whatever, like, where can I find out about this person or whatever? And then obviously it's all there on Disney Plus on, season whatever of Clone Wars.
Don't like doing homework though.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally understandable. And with Thrawn, though, I wonder also if they are going to do basically just throw him in the Mandalorian, see how it goes, and then make a spin-off series.
I'm worried that it's going to be Moff Gideon, and he's going to do a Red Skull and go, "It was me all along."
If he's going to do that,
very Saturday morning cartoon, if he does that.
Yeah, I heard those.
Also, why would he do it? But that's the sort of silly thing that they might do.
If they're going to do that, I quit with that. No, I quit. I'm boycotting.
He's going to be a lackey. Gideon's going to be a lackey to Grand Admiral Thrawn, basically. They're going to think they've got the baddie, because they'll get him at the end of this series, and then they'll be like, no, there's a bigger baddie.
Always.
It's like the fish thing, isn't it? There's
exactly.
always
a bigger fish.
Yeah. Turns out the Phantom Menace was right.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, but I think overall with Thrawn, that is a very it's a choice, because Thrawn is one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe. I really like him. And I know he's a good fighter from all the books and cartoons and stuff like that. So I like the way that it's kind of like a sensei to her, to Morgan Elsbeth, and I think that's really interesting in terms of fighting against the Jedi. And I wonder if Thrawn gave her the spear because he knew a Jedi would be coming. And that's really interesting, because that's a big spoiler here. Matt, do you want to know the end of Star Wars Rebels? Because you're never going to watch it anyway?
I don't care, yeah.
Okay,
I'm not going to watch it. So
okay, so for the other people who want to watch it, this is a spoiler, so stop now for a second. And the end of Star Wars Rebels is basically there's Ezra, the kid, the Jedi, who we're going to talk in a little bit about, and he's gone. He basically gave with those hyperspace whales. He went away with Thrawn, and they are both off. And Thrawn is never seen again. And Ahsoka at the end of Rebels takes up Sabine Wren, another Mandalorian, to look for Ezra. So that could be connected in that some kind of way.
So Grand Admiral Thrawn's gone off with somebody called Ezra.
Yeah.
Who's Ezra? Is Ezra a baddie as well?
No, Ezra is the good guy from Star Wars Rebels.
Why has he gone off with Jedi? A baddie?
Because there was those space whales. They have tentacle things, and they were on the Chimera, and they took off with the Chimera. So and he was because Ezra kept them with a force that he couldn't escape, and then the whales just.
So they didn't do it on purpose. They didn't let's go off together.
No, they did not.
He trapped him.
Yeah, exactly, and he sacrificed him, basically.
Sacrificed who?
He sacrificed himself to keep Thrawn, to
and
get
what does Thrawn do? Is he just a baddie, or has he got magic powers as well?
No, Thrawn is he's very calculated. He knows he studies a lot. He's
genius.
He's
a blue Moff Tarkin.
He's no, I would say he's like a blue Sun Tzu.
No, but in Star Wars. Yeah,
in Star Wars terms, he's like a better version of Tarkin.
Okay.
So that's his thing, and so we have Thrawn, we have all of that, and we have a little aftermath. We can see one fellow artist in the background. I just pulled the image up because I don't know if you know him, Matt. His name is Scott Saslow, and he was one of the extras in there, so that was kind of fun.
I do know that name.
Yes, yeah, he was in the background. I pulled it up. That was fun. And because I had him on the show, he was my actual first guest for my movie poster podcast, so that was kind of good to see him. And
They invite me to go onto the set, do they?
yeah, I don't know. I guess you're not living close to where.
To be honest, I've never asked. So.
Yeah, maybe
They'll probably start paying you in like appearances instead of money.
I'd do that. Paint me green and put me in the background.
Exactly.
You could be Thrawn.
Yeah, there you go. Matt Ferguson as Thrawn. Okay. Yeah.
If it'll be somebody famous. Is there anybody famous that they've announced cast-wise?
No.
That we don't know who they are.
It's not out yet. No.
So
My personal wish would be that Thrawn is portrayed by Michael Fassbender. That would be my personal wish.
They're not going to get Michael Fassbender.
I don't think so either. But he did do he didn't do a lot
He's
lately
not doing
though.
much right now.
It doesn't matter. No.
But I know.
Thrawn's got like really.
They might not even have him in this series.
Yeah.
Or they might do like a reveal right at the end, like Thanos style.
Exactly. We'll see. But yeah, the Mando gets the spear. So he got a new weapon, a new little toy. So he's always probably gonna carry the spear around, and is gonna leave his nice gun on the side.
He could melt it and make more armor, though.
He could, but we'll see. He needs to find the armorer first, though.
Who's gonna come up against the saber?
Yeah,
Dark saber
would be good to have.
Oh, is a would that go through though? Because it's like a mega saber.
Yeah, like the dark saber is basically like a lightsaber.
Oh, it's just a lightsaber. It's not like a mega saber. I thought it was like mega.
No.
Like
it's the Mandalorian lightsaber. Basically.
What do you mean? Is the Mandalorian lightsaber?
Because the dark saber is from Mandalore. That's their weapon. Whoever has.
Would they be able to make it so that it would go through Beskar though, if they kind of made it?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but.
So it's not a Jedi lightsaber. It's just a lightsaber.
It's yeah.
Because I thought lightsabers were made by Jedis.
Yeah, not in this case, I guess, but.
Okay.
But yeah,
it's kind of fun that they've not explained any of this in the
they probably
TV series.
They probably will.
We're all just like, what the hell's going on?
Okay, yeah. So then we get this kind of like almost like a goodbye scene when the Mandalorian has to or wants to leave Grogu with Ahsoka, and he goes there. Like his voice is almost like cracking. He sounds like he's gonna cry in a second under his helmet. And I was almost crying. So I thought it was a very emotional scene that he has to leave him behind. But
I don't remember that happening.
I know, me neither.
What? Why not? Oh my God, people. Oh my God.
He sort of was like, "Are you going to train him?" And she was like, "No." And then that was it. That's what happened. He was like, "All right,
no, he's like,
screw you then."
He's getting the spear, and then he's gonna say to Ahsoka, "Okay, the Grogu is in the ship. I'll go get him." And then he's gonna go there, and he's like sleeping in a hammock, and then he's like, "Hey, buddy, you need to go." And then they talk, have like a little, almost like a goodbye, and he's like very sad that he needs to.
Hard to tell with the helmet.
Give him up, but you could hear in his voice. I could hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so that is
already crying. That's what you heard.
Yeah, exactly. And that's hurt. And then Ahsoka comes up and then basically tells him, "Hey, you gotta stay with him. You got a connection. You guys are good for each other."
It's not Game of Thrones, is it? They're not going to just sort of axe characters. You know that they're stuck together.
Exactly.
They're not going to take that leap. So that's probably why I was like,
yeah,
marketing.
People would go crazy as well. So, but yeah, then Ahsoka throws the name Tython around, and Tython is, for all the people out there who are not familiar, is a planet in the core worlds. It's very close to Coruscant, and was the seat of the Jedi, which are the kind of Jedi before the Jedi, like 20,000 plus years, and
like the Knights of the Old Republic type stuff.
Before that, way before that. Knights of the Old Republic is like 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, and this is we're calling 25,000 years about. So, and yeah, so Tython has always been a place before the original Jedi Temple, and there's like the strongest still force there. The force is still strong there, and so that's really interesting because she tells him, "Hey, you gotta put him at the top there and let him choose." And I think that's really interesting because right now he cannot talk, he cannot say anything. Everybody else was choosing for him. And at this point, he can make up his mind if he wants to be trained by somebody else, if he wants to stay with the Mandalorian. And that's was really interesting to me. And I wonder if he's going to go out there, if he's going to stretch his powers and somebody is going to come, who is going to come? Matt, what is your thought on that? Who's going to come?
All the nerds want it to be Luke Skywalker. They want it to be Luke Skywalker.
Sebastian Stan?
I don't care who plays him. I just hope it's not him because we've had Luke Skywalker's story. We need to get over it. It happened. It's good what happened. It was awesome in The Last Jedi. Anyone that thinks it's not just is like, I don't know. Anybody that wants Luke Skywalker to show up and just slaughter a load of people misses the point of the character, because the whole point of the character is he wins by not fighting, which is what he does at the end of Return of the Jedi. So I hope it's not him. So I don't think it will be, because they're not going to go near that again. Not going to poke that nest.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because it'd just be Mando.
Yeah.
No one will show up.
Okay, yeah. I think my theory was on time, or who's showing up would be, if nobody's going to show up, it's going to be the only one who's going to show up is going to be Moff Gideon, because he has the tracker on the Mando ship.
Yeah.
Or we're going to go back to
or Ashoka might come and save the day at the last minute.
Yeah, I think so too, because she's looking for Thrawn, and then she needs to go through Gideon to get there, I guess. And James, who do you think who's going to come? If a Jedi is going to come, who's going to come?
If someone is going to come, maybe they would bring Ezra back, just because it fits in with all the other characters that they're sort of using, like Thrawn and Ahsoka.
He's a Jedi, isn't he? Ezra. Okay, that could be cool.
Yeah, I think that would make sense if Ezra comes back. Also, a possibility, by the way, is Cal Kestis from The Fallen Order, the video game, because he is looking for younglings and try to train people and stuff like that at the end of the game. So that's
yeah, that's post, because this is all post Return of the Jedi, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, I think.
And it's a sort of almost the same time as the Rebels TV show ish.
Yeah, definitely. It should be after, I think. But some people, Dave Filoni said something weird about it in terms of it is possible that it is not linear as Star Wars is. Like, we had like 4, 5, and 6, and then we had 1, 2, 3, and he was mentioning something about that, but which was really vague.
Maybe it started off, when it started, it was like just before the end of that show, and then it's gone on.
Yeah.
That show's finished now, and then it's turning into like a sequel to that show.
Kind of, yeah. That's what I'm thinking as well. So really looking forward to that.
If it keeps putting characters in from that show, then yeah.
Okay, I guess we're through the show itself, and we answered a lot of questions here for the people out there. And I wanted to know in the end now, what kind of how would you rate the show, first of all, Matt? And how would you rate the show, first of all?
Well, it's like anything with Star Wars. It's so much fun because there's Star Wars stuff happening. Lightsabers, it's exciting. Star Wars is also very easy to criticize because it's inherently silly. It's like Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
So you've just got to go with it, and that's why I've always kind of done. And I just have a lot of fun watching it, really, and don't take it. So when you start to break it down like we have in this, then you can almost take away some of the fun of it, because it's kind of Star Wars has always been a little bit surface level fun, and then every now and again they do something that's really like Empire Strikes Back. But it's really good escapist fun, which is really good right now with everything that's going on. So I've been enjoying it a lot, and I've been enjoying that, and I've been enjoying his Dark Materials as well for the same reasons. So
yeah, okay. And how would you rate the episode from 0 to 10?
This specific episode was one of the best ones, actually, I think. Yeah, so I'd give it like an 8. I think I thought it was really good.
Okay. Is there a 10 episode? Is chapter 8?
I think the last episode of the first series, where the nanny bot just was awesome and everything. That was as close to as a 10 as you could get. And then it had like rock and roll guitars for the Mandalorians, with a flashback. Yeah. And they came to save him when he was a kid, and it was like that was so insanely cool. That one was like pure Flash Gordon. They were flying around on rockets and stuff. That was wicked. But
by the way, speaking of the music and the sound, I think the music and the sound in this episode was really great in terms of the cinematography. And I think they even had a little piece of Yoda's theme put in there.
Well, there was the bit when the Razor Crest took off and it lit her up red.
Yeah.
And that was the same as in like Empire Strikes Back when Yoda says like there is another. So that was kind of cool Star Warsy vibes. It was really good. The music was amazing.
Yeah. James, how would you rate this episode?
I've only watched it once, this one, but I'd probably give it an 8 as well. We kind of do 0.5s and stuff, don't we, as well, sometimes?
Sure.
Maybe 8.5.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna be a little bit higher than you guys. I'm at 9.5 because this is my favorite episode, tied with Chapter 8.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. True. I think I prefer Chapter 8 if that's the one, the last episode of Series 1. But this one there was more interesting things going on. Basically, I was really sort of interested in trying to find out what was happening, which is always good when you want to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, for me, it was like personally for me, since I'm like very nerdy into like comics, books, audiobooks, and all that stuff. It was like really, it gave me a lot in terms of like the stuff I know about, and then expanded on that, and that was really interesting for me. That's why I love this episode so much. But yeah, so for the people out there. Matt's art, he did some very cool art for The Mandalorian. Is there going to be a second season piece, maybe?
Well, maybe, but the thought I had was like doing different characters.
Oh, that's cool.
Because there's lots of cool new characters now, so
like
I might not do exactly the same thing. Not just the headshots, no, more like just like a cool Ashoka one and a new Mando one and a cool this guy, that guy. There's lots of cool guys.
I want to see a Frog Lady one.
Yeah, the Frog Lady's the best.
Yeah,
that was probably my third favorite episode.
Yeah,
I loved it. I thought the humor was just spot on. I just thought it was great, and just the spiders and stuff. This is just really good, like proper Flash Gordon nonsense. It was great. I loved that one. It was directed by Peyton Reed, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Ant-Man, which I also love. So I obviously like his sense of humor. It's very funny.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so people out there, look forward for Matt doing some very cool
Frog Lady,
Mandalorian artwork. Frog Lady in particular. I'm already calling one. I'm gonna get one. Frog Lady definitely needs to go up at the wall. So tune in next week when we're gonna talk to another Matt. It's gonna be Matt Taylor. He's gonna be on and review with us the next episode, people. Bye, guys. May the force be with you.